All right, so now that I've given you guys the proper foundations of what a martini is and all the nuances of your classic martini, we're going to dive into the wide world of the classic martini offshoots. We're going to go at a quicker cadence here, and actually this is going to be a fun part for both of us because a lot of these cocktails that we're going to be going through in the next few days are cocktails I've never made before. I've never tried before. I've never seen them out. Some of these liquors actually right in front of me, two of these liquors I've never tried before. So I'm actually really excited about this, sharing this journey with you, maybe getting grossed out on camera. Who knows what happens, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Today, we're talking about the Martinez. The Martinez is, some will argue it's the precursor to the Martini. It's a 50-50 riff basically between Old Tom Gin and Sweet Vermouth with a little bit of Maraschino Liquor, Luxardo Maraschino Liquor, and a dash of bitters. We're going to build it together. We're going to talk a little bit about the specs. I promise, or I don't promise, I'm going to try not to ramble as much as I've rambled so far, but I feel like this is now moving forward. Where we were before, I was trying to do a lot of foundation, a lot of basically just kind of giving you guys all the knowledge you guys would need to really understand and really appreciate the martini at a basic level. And then we're going to build up from that. So like I said before, this is Old Tom Gin. There's actually, well, so how many types of gin there are is kind of a controversial subject. If you Google how many types of gin are there, you're going to find all sorts of different lists that are like, oh, the 11 types of gin, the 5 types of gin, the 7 types of gin. We'll have an episode where we talk about all the different types of gin later. Up until this point, everything we've made has been made with London dry gin. It's a specific type of gin. To me, it is the quintessential gin. That is the gin that, if you're, when people are tasting gin, when a cocktail calls for gin, if they don't specify London dry, in my opinion, is what they're calling for, because it's basically what all other gins aspire to be. And it's like I said before, it's a yardstick, right? I usually call on Gordon's. To me, everything is either better than or worse than Gordon's. I'm like, okay, this is the flavor profile I expect. I might expect it to be better. I might expect it to be a little bit worse. But if I'm drinking a cheap gin, if I get a well gin at a bar somewhere, I'll know, and I'm like, ooh, this isn't as good as Gordon's. Another one that I actually prefer, my top shelf when I'm talking about a gin actually is Tanqueray 10. Regular Tanqueray is fine, but I feel Tanqueray 10 really has that crisp, clean finish. It really goes down smooth. It's something I really enjoy. Old Tom is different than London Dry in the sense that it's actually a little bit sweeter, and the botanicals are supposed to be bolder. I can't tell you, it's not necessarily that it's going to be really sweet like a rum, but it's got a hint of sweetness that you don't get from a dry gin. And also, some Old Tom gins are barrel aged, so you'll see them and they'll have that golden hue you expect from an aged rum, from a whiskey, that you usually don't expect from a gin. Sweet Vermouth, we've talked about before. I don't know what else to say. It's got that caramel fruit notes that you usually get. It's a fortified wine, and not only is it a fortified wine, it's also a aromatized wine, and I know I butchered that word, but it's basically not only a wine that has been fortified with distilled alcohol, but it's also been hit up with the aromatics that give it the specific flavor profile. Each brand of each brand of Sweet Vermouth and each brand of vermouth in general is proprietary. They'll have their own blend of aromatics in it, and thus they'll have their own flavor profiles. But for the most part, you're going to get, in a Sweet Vermouth, you're going to get sweetness. You'll get some sort of caramelly or molasses type flavor. It's a little bit thicker or more viscous on, I don't know, I hate using the term mouthfeel, but that's it's going to be a little bit syrupy. And like I said, it's got the aromatics in there. The Luxardo Maraschino Liquor, I've never tried before, but I do know it's something that comes into some of these classic martini offshoots. I believe it's in the Tuxedo number 2, maybe not. I might be thinking about another one. But it's in a few cocktails, and I had never bought it just because I wasn't willing to invest on something that I may or may not like. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for you, the people. So today we're using Heyman's. It's one of the big brands for Old Tom Gin. For my vermouth, as usual, it's DeSalins. And then, like I said, Luxardo. And then we're using aromatic bitters. Most common brand of aromatic bitters is actually Angostura. I'm using Fee Brothers just because it was on sale. I actually don't mind Fee Brothers. It's got a very good flavor. I don't know if I would... I can't say that I've had enough exposure to just plain bitters to say that I prefer one brand over the other based on taste. It's used so sparingly that it doesn't necessarily, I can't say that it makes a big impact. If you guys have had experiences, you know, and you have your preferences, comment below why, and I'd love to get a dialogue on why you like different bitters, and maybe we'll have a whole episode on just bitters and the different types and the different brands, and we'll go from there. So, like I said before, this is considered by some bar scholars to be the precursor to the Martini. Flavor profile is going to be somewhere between a Manhattan, and it's going to be closer to a Manhattan, I should say. Just from the Sweet Vermouth, probably we're going to get that, and I would say probably even from the sweetness of the Old Tom, it makes me feel that this would probably be closer to a Manhattan than a Martini. Let me see. I have some notes here. Hold on. Let me just make sure. I feel I'm skipping something. Yeah, no. I said it. Flavor profile somewhere between Manhattan and Martini. Sweeter. It's got the bolder botanical flavor. So, all right. Let's make this. Like I said before, it's basically a 50-50 in the sense that we're going to go, and our ratios today is going to be 3 parts Old Tom Gin, 3 parts of the Sweet Vermouth, and then we're going to be doing a half part of the Luxardo, and then 1 dash. But let's go ahead and start building. Step 1, always, 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 we want to chill the glass. And I say it every time, if you have a freezer that you can dedicate to chilling your glassware, by all means do so. But if not, just adding a little bit of ice to your glass and liquid gets the job done. The other thing you can do, actually, is if you've got a soda stream or a soda siphon. I don't know what it is about the chemistry of it, but you know, the carbon dioxide of the soda water actually, in my opinion, makes it chill faster. So, all right, we're gonna put that to chill, leave it off to the side there. All right, let's start building. All right, first thing, 3 parts of the Old Tom. I would say it does have a stronger, like the botanicals are coming through, like I said before. The flavor profile is described as being bolder, and I can't disagree with that. It definitely comes across like a little punchier, I guess, in the smell. All right, 3 parts Sweet Vermouth. Last but not least, we're going to go with a half measure of the Luxardo Maraschino Liquor. Smells like cherries. I don't know what I was expecting, obviously. I kind of assumed it was going to be cherries, but I didn't know what to expect. After I make this, I'll probably taste it on its own just to kind of figure out exactly what it is, how it contributed. But I wanted to come into this unbiased as to what this drink is going to be like. And then, like I said, actually I completely forgot to add this, 1 dash of aromatic bitters. I'm going to stir till chilled. Usually when you start to see your mixing glass start to frost on the edges, it's usually a good sign that you're chilled. And it does feel good, so I think we are sufficiently chilled. I'm gonna go ahead and dump out my ice. Well, that's interesting. All right. So I'm gonna pour this out. Actually, this is one of my favorite. When cocktails have a good sauce to them, I really love the fact that I can go ahead and I have drink number 2 ready to go. And I could just kind of put this on ice to chill. Or usually what I do is I just kind of leave it in the fridge or the freezer so it stays cold. I don't know if you can see that color, right? That's a beautiful, now mind you, this is last time we did the perfect martini. And the perfect martini was a little bit lighter than this. This is straight up like I'm looking at a glass of grape juice, maybe like a grape soda type. Trying to remember if it's the French. I don't want to say it's the French 75. Maybe it's the French martini. That's the with the Chambord. It's got that same color. Anyways, garnish for this is going to be a piece of orange peel. So again, we're gonna grab the wrong peeler. Sorry. I'm gonna see if I can get a good peel and actually get it that it expresses. All right, we've got a solid piece there. So let's see if we can actually get it to express. Oh, it did. I don't think you could see it from that angle, but it actually did give a nice squirt of the essential oils. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of pass it over the glass so it gets the flavors, drop it in. Moment of truth. Let's see what this tastes like. That's actually really good. So this is definitely outside of my wheelhouse. I really like this. This is sweeter than I usually drink. But what I like about it is that even though it's sweet, it is definitely spirit forward. Like I feel it. This is just as potent as any of the martinis that I've had so far. It's probably a little bit lower on the ABV because of the fact that it is a 50-50 split between the gin and the dry vermouth. But it's really good. It's really good. It's got, if you're not crazy about berries, right? So if you don't like cherries, if you don't like, we'll stick with cherries for now, you might not like this because it definitely, the cherry flavors are highlighted, both from the Maraschino Liquor and from the Sweet Vermouth. You get the botanicals though. You get the botanicals. It's definitely supporting, unlike all the other martinis that I've made so far, where the botanicals are front and center. Here, I'm getting them kind of playing a supporting role to the cherry, which actually is very nice because you're getting that cherry flavor and it's basically making it like a spicy cherry. If I make this again, probably when I make this again, to be honest, because I like this, I would probably hit it with maybe, not necessarily the usual 6 hits of bitters I usually do, but I might do maybe 2 hits of bitters on this. Maybe 3, just to kind of give it a little bit more, because I don't get the bitters until the very end, right? So I'm getting like the botanicals, kind of giving like a more complex flavor profile to the cherry, all the while very smooth. It's not like an overly sweet drink, but it is sweet. And then at the very end, I get a little bit of the spiciness from the bitters, from the aromatic bitters. This is really good. Chilled perfectly, so it goes down smooth. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like this is like an adult fruit punch, an adult like cherry soda or something. Like it's got a really good flavor. And like I said, it's sweet. It's sweeter than I usually drink, but at the same time, it's not overly sweet. I really enjoy this. I was very pleasantly surprised by this. I can see why they say that it's somewhere between a Manhattan and a Martini, but to be honest, it's not. I would not describe this as anything close to a Manhattan because of the fact that, well, next video actually is going to be the Manhattan, so we'll talk. I'll compare it at that point in time, but I feel that a Manhattan actually does have it's not as sweet as this. It's not as sweet, and the lack of the cherry liqueur actually, number one, removes the sweetness of it, and number two, it gives, you know, the only thing you're getting an amplified whiskey flavor, as opposed to here where front and center is the cherry, the berries from, you know, the fruit flavor from the vermouth plus the cherry flavor from the Maraschino Liquor. So this was a great start to part 2 of this video. So of this channel, I should say. Guys, if you haven't gone through my Martini Masterclass, you know, there's 7 videos. I know it's a lot of time, right? It's a lot of time to dedicate to drinking, but at the same time, I hope I'm entertaining. I hope I share knowledge with you guys. I show you guys how to do it. Usually, if you kind of fast forward through about half the video, it's the first half is me usually giving a lot of history, a lot of discussion, and then the second half is where I actually get into the. So if you just want to see the bare bones of it, if you just want me to get to the nitty gritty of the alcohol, like I kind of did on this episode, you can kind of fast forward through the first little bit. I'll see if I can go through and edit my chapters so I can, or edit my video so I can start putting chapters in there so you can kind of skip ahead. But either way, guys, this is, like I said, this has been fun. I've been enjoying this. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Comment, please add comments if you want to talk about bitters, if there's specific cocktails. If you've made this, tell me what you think. Tell me what you like. If you want me to do something else, other cocktails, if there's something specifically that you have in mind, be it a martini or something else, let me know, and we'll try it. If you make this cocktail and you come back and say, you know what, this is actually great, but these are the specs that I used, and it came out so much better, I'd love to hear them, because I'd love to play around, because as you've seen with the channel, you know, with my preferred martini, I played with specs too, right? So by all means, you know, and that's one of the things I'm hoping people accomplish. You know, that's one of the things I'm hoping to accomplish by this channel, to get everyone comfortable enough that they're willing to play with the specs and find what they like, what really makes them happy. So as always, guys, cheers, have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.